6:30 on the way this morning. Earlier this week, we told you about the first woman to step foot on the moon that could be from the inland Northwest.
I'm either going to walk on the moon or one of my friends is going to walk on the moon.
And now we've sat down with two inland Northwest women who could make history.
And we've got a little bit of light snow coming down. I'll let you know how much you can expect in town and how much you might see in the mountains.
Up with KREM begins now.
Lebron James has been named as Time's Athlete of the Year this year. He was elected to that spot for his work outside of the basketball court, though. The Lakers star's More Than a Vote organization has worked to educate people about voter suppression. Time magazine wrote, after nearly 2 decades in the NBA, James has fully embraced that his talent on the court is a means to achieving something greater off it. He was also named one of Sports Illustrated's Sports People of the Year. And coming up later in the show, we're going to reveal who was named as Time's Person of the Year, or should we say People of the Year. But this is cool to see. LeBron has become such a huge advocate, Jeremy, for so many off-the-court issues, and this year seemed to be one where there were plenty of them.
Yeah, you know, I've always enjoyed that about LeBron James. No matter where you stand on your feelings about him versus other players on the court, I think off the court we can all agree he's doing some genuine good.
And I am personally excited to share the Time Person of the Year as well. That's coming up a little bit later. Let's switch gears. Let's look outside real quick. We were talking about that snow coming down already, Jeremy. It's a little bit already, right?
Yeah, it's coming down. It's not enough that we can really see it on some of the cameras around town just yet, but expect it to continue to increase in intensity as we get to about the middle part of the day. So for the next 6 hours, it is going to slowly pick up in intensity. Not much coming down there in Riverfront Park just yet, but we are starting to see it across the region. Notice 35 and it's coming down as snow in Moses Lake. That's your big takeaway. This isn't the type of snow where it really depends on the temperatures down at the ground. It's the type that comes from some very cold air up in the atmosphere overhead. So even as temperatures climb slightly above freezing, we can get that snow to come down. For that reason, winter weather advisory 1 to 2 inches in those areas shaded in purple. A couple spots might pick up close to, say, 3 by the time it comes to an end. You can see the snow scooting its way up I-90 toward us. It's coming in, it'll be here, and it'll start really coming down in the next few hours. We're expecting the snow to continue through the day, the bulk of it happening through the middle part of the day, so expect that. And here's the way I'm breaking this one down for you. This morning, it's not really going to be the snow that's the worry, but for some reason when you get snow coming down, even if it's not sticking, the morning commute suffers. It's just the way it is. The real impacts are going to be the evening commute later on today because we get a bulk of that snow right in the heart of the day and slowly tapers off by about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And because of that, I think the evening commute will have the biggest impacts. Joshua?
Looking forward to checking out your full forecast in just a little bit, Jeremy. Here are 3 things you need to know about the coronavirus in our area today. Number 1, Spokane's former regional health officer, Dr. Bob Lutz, has a new job. He's the newest member of the state COVID response team, and the Washington Department of Health says he accepted an offer to work for them earlier this week. In a statement made just last night, a department spokesperson told KREM Dr. Lutz's experience as a local health officer and his clinical expertise will bring great value to our state's response efforts. Coming in at number 2 today, a co-founder and publisher of Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living magazine has died after a battle with COVID-19. Emily Bozzi's colleagues say she was a pillar of Bozzi Media in the Spokane community for more than 20 years. We've also learned Emily's husband, Vincent, is currently hospitalized with COVID-19. The magazine shared the news of Bozzi's passing on Facebook, saying, quote, she was proud to create a space that honored the many stories from Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, as well as the many businesses who became her clients. Number 3, in an effort to avoid contracting COVID, some people have avoided their regular medical appointments, and doctors say you should not put off those visits. Many diseases, including breast and colorectal cancers, can be caught early through routine screenings. This goes for immunizations too, like the flu shot or measles. Child immunization rates dropped about 26% at the start of the COVID pandemic. Doctors say you should get up to date with those as well. Well, we've been celebrating all week. NASA announced this week that not one, but two astronauts from the inland Northwest are joining a team that's leading exploration to the moon, Mars, and beyond. And one of them could make history by becoming the first woman to walk on the moon. We are so excited. We've been talking about this all week. We're expecting to talk with astronaut and Gonzaga Prep alumna Anne McClain later today. Earlier this week, she said that she is thrilled that either herself or one of her friends that have been chosen could make history.
I'm either going to walk on the moon or one of my friends is going to walk on the moon. And both of those scenarios are beyond my wildest dreams when I was a kid.
Our Mark Hanrahan also spoke with Kayla Barron. She's from Richland, Washington, and also grew up in parts of southern Idaho. You can check out her interview tonight on KREM 2 News. Meanwhile, NASA's new team does have 18 astronauts in total. Their ages range from 32 to 55, and they include flight test pilots, geologists, even a former Navy SEAL. Half of them have never been to space, and half of them are women. Astronaut Nicole Mann is currently training to fly Boeing's Starliner spaceship to the International Space Station next year. Now, the moon is on her horizon, too.
Would it be important to you to be the first woman to land on the moon?
You know, I would love to be the first woman to walk on the moon, but in reality, it's the bigger mission that's more important. It's important that we get there as Americans, that we get there as a human race.
And to get there, NASA is developing a new mega rocket and crew capsule. It's called Orion. But Congress has not yet fully funded the Trump administration's 2024 landing goal, and the incoming Biden administration has to agree with these excited Artemis astronauts that this moon mission matters. But if the goal here was to create excitement at the moon for all of us, well, mission accomplished. And as the pandemic surges across the country, pet adoptions are at an all-time high. So too are pet scams. Last week, we shared the story of a local woman who was grieving the death of her daughter and was targeted in a puppy scam. Jeannie Dixon thought she was buying a Newfoundland puppy from a breeder online, but was ripped off. And immediately after it aired, several people offered to gift Jeannie a puppy.
I'm overwhelmed by the kindness of strangers and so grateful, very grateful.
Coming up, we will hear more from Jeannie and the local breeder who stepped up to help after the break.